Hello, algebra students. This is your notes for lesson 1-5 for scatter plots. And the objectives of this lesson are to analyze data using scatter plots. And you see the several topics that are covered here if you want to look in more detail. First of all, a scatter plot is defined as a graph that relates data of two different sets period. The two sets of data are displayed as ordered pairs. Okay, so that's the first thing, what a scatter plot is. Then we think about correlation in a scatter plot. In general, both sets of data increase together. This would be a positive correlation. If you see where the line, as you read from left to right, the trend line, which is what this is called, is rising from left to right, and the data points are clustered fairly close to it and approximately half above and half below. Here is the opposite situation where you have a trend line that is falling from left to right. Still, the points are clustered relatively close and approximately half above and half below. This would be a negative correlation. In general, one set of data decreases as the other set increases. So this would be a negative correlation. And finally, when this is pretty random, sometimes data sets are not related. This would be no correlation. Okay, there's nothing really that's trending together. That's what a trend line is, to sort of tell you how things are falling together. All right, so a trend line on a scatter plot shows correlation more clearly. So oftentimes we will draw a trend line so that we can more visually identify the type of trend that exists, if any, in a set of data. Okay, all right. Our first example is going to ask us to make a scatter plot using the data that's given. Okay, the table shows the number of hours worked and the amount of money each person earned. Make a scatter plot of the data. Okay, so we see the name of about 6 people here, how many hours they've worked, and the amount of money earned by each. Okay, the greatest amount earned is, when you look down the list, you see $63.75. And this is just so you can start figuring out how you want to put out your numbers here. This one's already done for you. However, if you're starting from scratch, you do need to make some of these decisions yourself. A reasonable scale on the vertical axis is from 0 to 70 with every $10 labeled. Okay, so that would be your earnings. Now, every $10, so starting here is 0. Sometimes actually the labeling will skip so that it can be read more easily. Okay, and here your hours worked range from 0. Generally we start at 0, and the highest amount here was 15. Looks like this counted by 2s, and it just carried it out to 20 because it fit the table. Again, if you're making your own, yours might not be exactly like this, but your data should be represented very similarly. Now we go about plotting these. The hours worked are our horizontal values, or our x values. The amount earned are our vertical values, or the y values. So for 6 hours worked, that's our x value, and earnings of $25.50. Okay, we would graph the ordered pair 6, 25.50. Okay, so if you will go 2, 4, 6, and here's $6, 6 hours. This is $20, $30. This is $25.50. So right about halfway is the plot for that. This is where we would plot that ordered pair. And then you continue going through and plotting. Okay, so for 12 hours and $51, so here's 12, 40, 51, just a tad above 50 right there. All right. 11 hours and 46.75. So 11 is halfway between 10 and 12. 45, so 45 would be right here, so 46 just a tad above that. Alex worked for 9 hours and earned 38.25. So again, 9 is halfway here, 40 is here, so 38.25 will be slightly below 40. Jordan worked for 15 hours. Okay, so this is 14.15 and earned 63.75. So 65 would be right about there, so we want to come down just a tad from that. And finally, Jennifer worked for 10 hours and earned 42.50. So here's the 10, 42.50 is just above 40. So your scatter plot should look something like this. We see that it has a positive trend line, very much in line. So basically we can say with the number of hours worked, as that increases, so does the amount earned. Okay. All right. The next one, identifying correlation from a scatter plot. Use the scatter plot in example 1 to answer the following questions. Is there a positive correlation, negative correlation, or no correlation between the number of hours worked and the amount earned? Explain. So as the number of hours worked increases, the earnings increase as well. There is a positive correlation between hours worked and earnings. Okay. Oh, I apologize. I had that scrunched right out of your view there. So I was reading number 2. As the number of hours worked increases, the earnings increase. There is a positive correlation between hours worked and earnings. Sorry about that, folks. All right, let's go on to, actually, these are quick check problems for you to do. So first one is just using the data here to go ahead and make a scatter plot. And then use the scatter plot from example 1, all right, that's back on the previous page, to answer questions 2A and B. Okay, good luck and thank you. We will discuss this in class. Please be sure to bring in any questions you might have. I will see you then. Bye.